I'm back with World Cup predictions and betting tips for individual matches on Tuesday, June 16th. I'm Myguyknowsaguy. This is my football predictions and betting tips channel, My Guy Knows Footy. Let's continue. Tuesday brings us one of the biggest match days of the entire 2026 World Cup group stage. France will play Senegal, Norway takes on Iraq, and Argentina plays Algeria. Three marquee teams in action. I have a couple of betting tips to share in this video along with my analysis. Before I do that, I want to ask you to hit the like button for me. This is my smaller channel trying to grow here. So hit the like button and leave a comment below for the algo. Also subscribe and turn notifications on. Also, always remember to bet responsibly. We're dealing with a game of chance here. You can get wiped at any time, so remember that you're always in control of your funds. With that said, here are my World Cup picks for Tuesday. Okay, France versus Senegal. This game is going to be played in MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. This is going to be a very interesting match, in my opinion. Global football powerhouse France was picked by many pundits to win this year's World Cup outright. Senegal have been one of the strongest African footballing nations in recent years alongside Morocco. Looking at the odds for this game, France are minus 220 favorites on the money line or 1.45 odds. Senegal are plus 600 or 7.0 underdogs for this one. And it's easy to see why on the surface. The football betting public perceives these two nations to be in different tiers at the moment in terms of overall class up and down the squad. Looking at France in their recent form, they were incredibly dominant in their World Cup qualifying group. They did have a pretty easy World Cup qualifying group featuring Azerbaijan, Ukraine, and Iceland, but France was still dominant nonetheless. France finished their qualifying campaign with 5 wins and 1 draw. Their lone draw came in a 2-2 game against Iceland. The first thing that comes to mind when analyzing this France team is just the raw star power that they possess in their lineup. Striker Kylian Mbappe is obviously an icon, a true superstar both on and off the field, but this team really did get younger on the flanks with Desire Doue and Michael Olisa. These two young superstars are coming off of ridiculous campaigns for Bayern Munich and PSG. One could also argue that both Michael Olisa and Desire Doue are in the best form of any players in the entire tournament. I could also throw Harry Kane of England in the mix there as well. It's really impressive to see Didier Deschamps and this France squad retool in terms of their attacking power to give Kylian Mbappe more support up front. The attacking firepower this France team has allows Ousmane Dembele to drop back a bit. I mean, this is really a formidable attack when you consider the high standard this France team set in the last World Cup in Qatar back in 2022. I made some decent money with France in certain situations back in Qatar in 2022 en route to their final appearance against Argentina. That was an all-time classic World Cup final, Lionel Messi versus Kylian Mbappe. One could also assume that the heartbreak that this France squad experienced back in Qatar will motivate them during this World Cup in 2026. But I have to add, a lot of time has passed. 3.5 years is a ton of time. There has been some turnover in their squad, but many key players from that Qatar World Cup are featuring in this year's Cup. You have Mbappe, Dembele, Rabiot, Dennis Upamecano, Theo Hernandez, Jules Koundé, and Tchouameni, who all have experience with this France squad. France also has a ton of consistency and stability with their manager, Didier Deschamps. This is going to be the 20th World Cup match featuring Didier Deschamps as the manager of France, a very impressive mark. Looking at Senegal now, I consider them to be a dark horse team in this year's World Cup. Maybe not to win it all, but I do think this Senegal squad will reach the knockout rounds. This is completely irrelevant for 2026, but way back in 2002, Senegal defeated France in the opening game of the 2002 World Cup. At the time, France were the reigning champions after winning the World Cup in 1998. To this day, that Senegal win over France back in 2002 is one of the most shocking results in World Cup history. There has been some turnover in this Senegal squad over the last 2 years. Usually that would be a bad thing for a team with big hopes before a World Cup begins. But for Senegal, it's actually a really good thing. This is probably the strongest team that Senegal has ever fielded in a FIFA World Cup. We all know about the household name that is superstar Sadio Mane. He's Senegal's all-time leading goal scorer. Sadio Mane also scored 5 goals for Senegal during the qualifying stage, but he's 34 years old and this is likely to be his last World Cup. He's only participated in one World Cup before this one. That was back in 2018. He featured in all 3 games when he was still playing for Liverpool at the time. In terms of FIFA rankings, at the moment, France are currently ranked 3rd in the world. Senegal are currently ranked 16th in the world, and I think this Senegal team could be a tricky squad for France to navigate. This Senegal team has a ton of talent. You can even look at their projected transfer values top to bottom. They have a ton of quality in this team. Ismail Assar of Crystal Palace will be a factor in the group stage here. Nicholas Jackson of Bayern Munich is a solid striking option that can compete with some of the top teams. Senegal midfielder Pape Gueye of Villarreal is a top transfer target this summer and will turn heads during this World Cup in my opinion. And Habib Diarra of Sunderland is a vicious defensive-minded midfielder that can also create for others. He has an endless motor and he will be a handful physically for this France team. This Senegal team had a sort of defensive and counter-attacking style in previous World Cups, but they have enough offensive firepower in this squad in 2026 to speed the game up a bit. My first prediction in today's video might shock people because many people are picking France to win this tournament outright, but I'm backing Senegal in this opening match against France. I'm not sure if Senegal is going to win this game outright, but I am placing 2 bets on them in this game against France. The first is Senegal plus 1.5 on the Asian handicap or point spread at -180 or 1.56 odds. I bet that to win a half unit. My second bet is on Senegal double chance at plus 165 or 2.65 odds. I'm risking a half unit there. I know France are the global powerhouse, but I'm willing to live with the results here. Next game up, we have Norway versus Iraq. Norway are massive favorites here, -600 favorites, the same as 1.17 odds. Iraq are plus 1400 on the money line, the same as 15.0 odds. On the surface, this game is all about Man City superstar Erling Haaland. The entire globe is going to bet Erling Haaland to score a goal against Iraq here. That could end up being the most popular bet of the day in all 3 matches. If you watched my pre-tournament video picking the winners from a betting perspective in every group of the 2026 World Cup, you'll remember that I picked Norway to win this group at plus 470 odds. I still stand by that. I think Norway is going to win this group, although I think it's going to be a dogfight between Norway, Senegal, and France. It really could come down to goal differential. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Norway to let the goals fly here for that goal differential in the group standings. Norway was a bit shaky in terms of their friendly matches before the World Cup began, but I have to add that the quality of competition they played in those 4 friendly matches was incredible. Norway drew 1-1 with Morocco. They beat Sweden 3-1. They had a 0-0 draw against Switzerland, and they lost 2-1 against the Netherlands. I think that the quality of competition that they played recently is actually going to help them in this group stage, even though they didn't get the results that they wanted. Norway was very impressive in their World Cup qualifying group. They won all 7 matches. Iraq took a different path to the World Cup compared to Norway. They had to beat Bolivia in a playoff game. They beat Bolivia 2-1 to qualify for one of the last spots in the World Cup. This Iraq team does have a creative flair in their scoring approach. They have a creative style. They also take a ton of risks when trying to score goals, but they don't have any stars in their starting lineup and they're outclassed in this game against Norway. Norway would really have to drop the ball in order for them to lose this game against Iraq, in my opinion. But we've already seen a few strange results during this World Cup. We just watched Cape Verde draw 0-0 against Spain in shocking fashion. When you look at the firepower this Norway team has, it's going to be too much for Iraq, in my opinion, defensively. I think the goals will flow in this game. You have Erling Haaland, Martin Odegaard, Antonio Nusa, and Alexander Sorloth. This Norway team should be able to generate offense. I'm placing a smaller bet in this match on the game to go over 3.5 total goals at plus 135 or 2.35 odds. I'm risking a half unit there. Argentina versus Algeria should be a very interesting game with the reigning World Cup champions Lionel Messi, Lautaro Martinez. Algeria is a potentially sneaky side, so I'm just going to watch this one as a fan. Hit the like button for me and leave a comment below about anything World Cup related for the algo. It really does help more people see my video. Subscribe to my channel and turn notifications on now so you don't miss my upcoming football predictions videos. Best of luck with all of your World Cup predictions on Tuesday. It's Myguyknowsaguy here on my football predictions channel. I'll see you next time.